Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode number 268 of the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of John Boy Media. And, well, you can probably tell I'm a little more excited than usual for today's guest. Been bugging him for years to come on. He was like, fine, stop bothering me. This is former Cy Young Award winner of your Cleveland Guardians, Shane Bieber. Biebs, how you doing, man?
Rosie, thanks for having me on. I'm fantastic.
Yeah, you look like it. You don't have to give us your exact location. But where are you right now?
We're in Hawaii. That's not exact.
Yeah.
No, I'm doing very well.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. I mean, I feel like I'm interrupting vacation.
No, not at all. It's nice and early here. No, you gave me a reason to get up early, get a nice workout in, and after this, then we'll go down to the beach and try and soak it up as much as possible.
All right, so your wife's not going to be mad. She's not going to be like, damn, seriously?
Not at all.
Okay, good. Is this like the last big vacation before you become parents?
Yeah, last vacation ever.
No, that's not true. Now, as you've met both my boys, it will eventually return to you, but your life will no longer be yours for the foreseeable future. So are you prepared?
I can't wait. We can't wait. Yeah, we're as prepared as we possibly can be. And we're excited. We know it'll hit us like a freight train, and we're excited for that. But I'm thankful and lucky to have Kara with me, leading the charge, and we'll be fantastic. I have no doubt.
Oh, I'm sure you'll be great. When is the baby due?
In March.
Oh my God. So all right, we'll leave spring training. Or are we going to be in
Arizona?
Home.
We're home. Yeah.
Oh, this is so nice.
It all adds up, and very thankful to be running it back with Cleveland for a multitude of reasons. That's one of them.
Yeah, let's get to it, I suppose.
Yeah.
It was an interesting free agency, I imagine, for you. When you signed, I can just tell you this, as being a huge Cleveland fan, it kind of ripped through the entire community like wildfire because we thought maybe it would not happen. When did you know that it was going to happen, your return?
It was that morning. It wasn't looking, it was looking bleak, and I'll just leave it at that. And then, we were able to come to terms in the morning and throughout the day, and it happened very quickly. And I think, always been ready for that moment, and my team, my family, everybody was prepared, and I'm thankful for that. Just to be ready to act in a moment's notice, right? And that's kind of how free agency can go. And if there's something that works for you on the table, you got to go out there and make it happen and take it. And that's without giving away too many details, it was looking kind of bleak, and I'm very, very happy to get something done and to be returning.
Okay, well, I don't mean to pry here, but I am curious. Like I imagine you had emotionally kind of set sail for wherever else you were about to sign. Is that accurate?
Not entirely, but yeah, I had to kind of get there. Just as an athlete, as a professional athlete, you end up hitting free agency, and maybe you don't sign that long-term extension that you were looking for, and you ultimately have to prepare yourself to move on, and that's just a business, and it's part of it. And I wasn't there completely or wholly, thankfully, and like I said, happy to run it back, but no, never got Cleveland completely out of our heads or our hearts.
So who called you and was like, yeah, this is done? Was it your agent, or was it because you're so close with the people in the Cleveland organization were like, guess what? We nailed this thing.
Yeah, no, it was my agent. And he knew how excited we would be, both my wife and I and the rest of our family, to hear that Cleveland was willing to run it back, and after all the years and just growing up there as a baseball player, as a person, as an adult, and with my family and my wife, and eventually our kids, it was something that we definitely looked forward to for a long, long time. And so, like I said, my agent knew that we would be ecstatic to hear that they were in the conversation. And then once we found that out, it was really that morning, and things moved quick. as they usually do. And so we're excited to get something done.
So when you're though meeting with other teams, how many was it? 3, 4? Well, decent number,
Yeah, a handful.
handful. So what is that process like, particularly where you are in your recovery?
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting, and it was obviously the first time I ever went through it. And just to add a little cherry on top, Tommy John right in the middle of it. I continue my rehab throughout it, and right now I'm at 90 feet, 3 sets this upcoming week, and feeling great, and haven't really missed a beat. And so, um, very excited to continue that progress. But yeah, throughout it, you just kind of, teams ask for medicals, both from the team you were with prior, as well as in my case, Dr. Keith Meister and Keith Coker over in Tempe, who I was doing um, my rehab with post World Series. I made that transition from Goodyear, the Cleveland complex, over to Tempe. Uh, can't say enough good things about the care that they provided me, just in transition where it can be very, hectic. He and his team did a fantastic job, and so yeah, I think teams just want to garner as much information as possible, and they're weighing multiple options all at the same time. It's not like they're just dead set on, Shane Bieber. I'm sure teams have other options as well, just like players are weighing multiple options, and it's kind of like I guess, a bit of a dance. And so, for me personally, um, I just try and let my team handle as much as possible, and that's what they're there for, and they're prepared. And just to when something happens and it's in front of you, you don't want to waste that opportunity, and we didn't. So I'm very thankful for, like I said, how everything is turning out.
All right, more of the show still to go, but first I have to tell you about this game-changing product that I use before a night out with drinks. It's called Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol. Now, after a night with drinks, I got to admit, I don't bounce back the next day the way I used to. I have to make a choice. I can either have a great night or a great next day. That is until I found out about Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol. Every time I have pre-alcohol before drinks, I notice a huge difference the next day. Even after a night out, I can confidently plan on being ready to record this show the next day without worry. So head on over to zbiotics.com/rotation to get 15% off your first order. That's when you use rotation at checkout. Pre-alcohol, it is backed with 100% money back guarantee. So if for some reason you're actually unsatisfied, they're going to refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head on over to zbiotics.com/rotation. Use the code rotation at checkout. You're going to get 15% off. So I am curious about this, is that, you compete against these guys for the last several years, and now with the new schedule, everybody plays everybody. So I imagine there are managers that were sitting in on meetings that you knew of, but you didn't really know them. You can at least say this part, like, was there one guy who you were like, man, he was awesome, and I didn't expect it, but that was neat to just meet him and say hello?
Yeah, really everybody. I don't want to. I don't know. I guess I don't want to mention names because I'm all Cleveland, baby. But really, like, I mean, baseball is it's a fantastic industry, and just to get to know people, whether it's from dugout to dugout or on the field or before games, you kind of have a rapport with other teams, whether it's managers or pitching coaches. You're out there throwing bullpens, 5 hours prior to the game, and so is the other team, and so you get to talking, and you build rapport, just with everybody. And so I was able to kind of extend that, and get to know people on a different basis, I guess, other than competing against each other each and every day. But yeah, I don't have a bad thing to say about anybody.
That's good. I am curious. I thought you had a chance to return to Cleveland in part because of the situation you're in health-wise. Like, I would have felt like, not being an athlete and not knowing anything of going through a free agency before, that there would have been something unsettling going to a new team that would have to learn who you are and how you're feeling and all sorts of stuff, as opposed to people that have been around you since you started being a pro baseball player.
Right.
Is that something that you weighed in your decision?
Yeah. I can't say how heavy I weighed it, but it was definitely a factor. Absolutely. And maybe less me being familiar with um, the staff and more of the staff being familiar with me, and just as a player. And like I said, it's as a professional athlete, it can be a tough business, and you can get traded. You can maybe just move on, just not on your own terms or on your own terms. And that's something that you kind of try and prepare yourself for throughout the years. And it's just part of the business. You take it and you run with it. And so that was definitely something that I was prepared for. But now that what's done is done, and I'm coming back to Cleveland, it's an absolute positive that I get to continue those relationships, and it'll be absolutely easier to continue my rehab with a staff that knows me better than any other staff in the league, and that goes a long, long way. And just having great relationships with them, and then them knowing the way I operate, the way I work, the way I, want to progress through my rehab and my throwing program. It just there's a ton of intangibles that went into the decision that Cleveland possessed and others didn't.
Who's the first teammate you called and you were like,
you know who it was?
Seriously, you called Hedgey?
I texted him. He never picks up the phone. No, I called him. I let him know, and I mean that's our guy. And so really happy to be running it back with those guys. And just in the exit interview in October, like I said, it was a tough season for me, just not being able to be out there. And I tried to be there for my teammates as much as I could down the stretch and in the postseason. Offering up any advice that I could, and whether they listened or not, I don't know. But either way, I was really happy for those guys and the moments that they were able to have and share on the field, and the ones I was able to experience from the dugout. And so, got some text messages from them, and in that exit interview, like I said, I told them I felt great in the beginning of the year. I was returning to form, so to speak. And I felt like there was unfinished business. So happy to, make it work and run it back.
I felt like we went a little bit on your journey because Hedgey was a regular last season.
Right.
In fact, he had told us after your first start in Oakland, he was like, guys, I'm telling you, not only is he all the way back, like this is going to be the best version. And then your next start in Seattle, you looked amazing, watched the whole thing. And I was like, damn. And then I wake up 2 days later, I was like, this can't be like, I thought somebody was punking me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you too. So did you know at that start that you were like, okay, this doesn't feel right?
Yeah, I did. Unfortunately, I knew the feeling because I had a slight tear in 23 that I was able to rehab, and I think it scarred over, and I was able to go into my off season and have a great normal off season, get my shapes to where they needed to be. And like I said, just kind of found a new form, and was having fun throwing and pitching again in spring training and my first two starts. And it's whatever it was, I don't know, probably a multitude of factors, whether it was just opening day, adrenaline, cold weather, dry in Oakland, night game, and whatever it may have been. I ultimately just chalk it up to I had a failing ligament, and I knew the feeling, and I had already addressed it via rehab. And so if my intuition was correct, probably around the fifth inning in Oakland, I knew that I would have to address it surgically. But I was in denial. I was in denial for a week plus, and I was hoping it was just just different game intensity, soreness. Went throughout my week in my bullpens and just tried to make it work. And I think in the back of my head, I was, like I said, I was in denial, but potentially knew, what the inevitable outcome would be. And I made my second start. I had to know for sure and see if adrenaline would mask it up and give my body a chance to kind of scar over. And because that's what happens with the UCL, and we're learning more and more. But mini trauma, and your body can maybe adjust or adapt, but ultimately kind of opened up in the same spot. Had to address it surgically, and I think I knew for sure in that Seattle start it was bothering me from warm up one to pitch 85, 83, whatever it may have been.
but you were untouchable.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it was a good experience, but it made it a little bit more difficult at the same time having to call my wife and my family, and everybody's ready to celebrate and and get the year going and started it off well. And I just kind of fought through it, and ultimately I had good results, right? But the process was not really sustainable for 32 starts. It was only going to continue to get worse. And like I said, I knew the feeling, and yeah, those phone calls were very difficult, but didn't take much for my wife Kara to be like, all right, well, we'll attack this like we do everything else, and we had to make that decision, and ultimately it was a tough year, but it was a great year for us. It was a year full of growth and perspective, and we're expecting a baby now, and a lot of good things that are coming, like we already had talked about, and so I think getting back to full health, I'm excited for what's to come.
And that's awesome. We spent a lot of time on the show talking about how you, as baseball players, deal with failure, because that's what the game is all about. And then I imagine dealing with stuff like this. And all I could think about was you watching your teammates do so well, finish with the 2 seed, take care of Detroit in a 5-game series, and playing the New York Yankees, and how much you wanted to be there. Speaking of being there, I don't know. Somebody wants to say hello to you real quick, if you don't mind.
Oh God.
Bro, what makes you think you can do anything without me?
This is an ambush. This is an ambush.
You know what? I made the mistake of telling him that you were going to be on, and he was like, "Well, you can't have him on without me."
Yeah.
He begged.
He physically can't even play his own position without me being there.
Hedgey,
So,
it's 1:00 in Arizona. What are you wearing a Browns beanie for? You just covering up that mop?
you're just
Terrible.
surprised I'm awake, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm surprised you're awake, and I'm not surprised you couldn't comb your hair, so you just threw a beanie on.
I got a rep for the people, right? I mean, Rosie got his Cleveland hat on. You look handsome in all your built stuff. So
Yeah, well,
that's not a surprise.
thanks for plugging.
Hey, Hedgie, do you even know where he is right now?
I'm down the street.
No,
not
I
you.
told you. This guy doesn't even pay attention.
The only thing I care about is that we won our fantasy matchup yesterday against Will Myers, and we're on to the semifinals.
Yep.
Who's
That's
the
big.
brains of that operation, Shane?
Come on.
Go ahead and answer it, Hedgie.
It's Pat Bailey, actually.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's Pat Bailey. He's the wizard when it comes to fantasy.
Yeah, we'll
Shane
give the credit
tries.
to Pat.
So what are you?
I'm our dynasty expert.
So Shane, what are you, the sugar daddy?
He's
In
the
a way.
bank.
In a way.
Oh.
He's just the bank.
Okay. So who do we play next now in the? I imagine it's the semifinals.
Oh God,
who do we
it's
play?
Jock, Woody, and Barnes.
Okay.
Who went 13-1 this
Yeah,
year.
they got a good squad. We need our fantasy defense to show up next week, and they need to not score very many points.
Oh boy, who's the superstar of the? First of all, what's the team name? It's got to be something creative. What is it?
I think it's Team Shane Bieber, so that'll answer your previous questions.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Do you want to tell him
I think it's still default.
What was our team name to start the year? Didn't we have a decent one?
Nah, I mean, I'll let you handle all that.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it.
Filthy.
I don't want to say it out.
I'm not gonna say it. I remember, but I'm not gonna say it.
You remember. I know. You'd let me say it, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, it sounded like you wanted to.
I wanted to, but I wanted you to say it.
Yeah.
You guys are acting like you're in 6th grade.
Yeah.
Damn it.
That's what we do.
What is it, Hedges?
Don't do it.
Well, I'll tell you our one from last year when we kind of stunk. We had Jamar Chase, and it was Jamar you lose, Jaleth you care.
Nice.
We started like 0-5.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It was bad. Our name changed like 5 times.
That's perfect. So Shane told us that you were the first teammate that he called when he re-signed with the Cleveland Guardians. That must make you feel special, Hedge.
It does. It does make me feel special. Well, did he tell you that I was the call before he signed too, where he asked me, quote, I need your unbiased opinion. Like, that's not fair. What are we,
Well,
who do you think I am? And
yeah,
then he's giving me all the options of all this stuff, and I'm being the best friend I can be. And he waits till the end that Cleveland's even an option. I'm like, you did this on purpose. Because if it was even a question, like, I don't know how to be unbiased when it comes to that.
yeah. It's all just how I set it up for you. I
You
know how
did.
you work. I know how your brain works. You would have shut it down if I just told you about Cleveland first and foremost. But I guess actually, Rosie, the first teammate I told when it was official, I was actually at lunch with a couple of the Cleveland clubhouse guys. They were out in Arizona, and I took him to lunch. Scotty wanted some pizza, so I took him to a good pizza spot in Arizona, and he still won't shut up about it. He said it was fantastic, za. And they were there, and I mean, I guess Chris, like, I forgot to mention this part, but they were actually there to bring me my locker from Goodyear, like the stuff in my locker. They packed it all up, and I was like, yeah, like let's go get some lunch. And I was ready to tell them, like, I love you guys, and let's stay in touch. But and then it happened like that morning. Like we had that plan for 5, 6 days, maybe a week, to go grab lunch, and they were gonna bring me all my stuff. And then I guess yeah, they they called in the morning, and things moved quick. And like Hedgie said, I wanted his opinion, his unbiased opinion, which he was able to offer up, and we made it work. But yeah, I guess so. Hedgie, you were the second call.
I'll take first teammate. First
First,
teammate. That
yeah, that's fair.
Holy smokes. Football fans, it is playoff time, and we've got some exciting games to look forward to, and you can get in on all the playoff action right now with our partners at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, they are offering all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5 when you use promo code ROSE. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games as they happen, making watching that game that much more exciting. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, use promo code ROSE, and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code ROSE only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Hedgey looked significantly better last year physically. Like when he took his shirt off and stuff, he looked less like me and more like a professional athlete. Was he able to keep that up for the full 6 months, Shane?
Yeah, he did great. Yeah, I mean, I won't
for
I
other
won't
for
dig
other
on him.
reasons,
I
right?
thought he did great. I thought he ate really well. Was very impressed with him in a bunch of different facets.
Mm. Which teammate is most likely to tell him to shut the fuck up at some point during the year?
I think
I
you're looking
love
at
him.
him.
Oh, really?
Am I right? Me or
Well,
Fry,
yeah.
maybe?
Well, he just does it the most often. Like he came into the clubhouse like 4 times last year, and I'd come in storming in with something stupid to say. And normally all the young guys, they're just like either give me a fake courtesy laugh or just don't say anything. And
Yeah.
Shane just from the corner is just like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Or they do, or yeah. I mean, Tyler Freeman is a fantastic teammate and a great person for Hedgie to be around, because the guy can't not offer up a courtesy laugh. It's crazy. It's actually fantastic. He's good to be around, especially for Hedgie and all the stupid things he says. And Freeman will give out a little chuckle, and Hedgie thinks, he gets 10 feet taller. And I'm like, Freeman, you don't have to laugh at that. That literally wasn't funny at all.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know.
Well,
I
I
can't help
bank
it.
on that. I bank on that. Like with some of the young guys, I'm like, if I go say something to make fun of somebody, one of these young guys is going to laugh just because they're uncomfortable, and then I win.
It's true.
It's a great point. It's a great point.
It's true.
I don't mean to bother you too much here, Hedgie, so I'll just ask you two other things. One is serious. Serious-ish. Last week, our team traded your platinum award-winning second baseman. We get it. We understand the Cleveland climate and budgets and everything else. How tough was that to take? Hedgey, we'll start with you, and then Shane.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you lose a brother that's been with you for a while, obviously how important he was to the clubhouse, to the city. That's tough. Like just reading the trade rumors at first were difficult, and I know Shane and I were getting bombarded with texts and calls. Just guys were confused and didn't know what was happening. But obviously, like all of us we're all big boys, and we know that this is a business, and it's only a business, and it sucks, but. It's not like this is any of our first rodeo when it comes to this. We've all had best friends that have been released, cut, traded, treated poorly at least. Those ones are worse. This is still a business deal that, I know all of us hope nothing but the best for Hemi. I think he's going to go thrive. Obviously, we needed some starting pitching, and, we got a really, really talented young arm in that. So from a business perspective, it's all good, but it doesn't mean that it's not difficult to lose a brother in the clubhouse.
Shane?
Yeah, just to piggyback, really difficult. Texted Hemi right away. But yeah, like Hedgie said, and I kind of alluded to it earlier when you're asking about just the process of free agency and where your mindset's at. And it's part of the business. And
What happened? Gimenez just cut off his line.
I was just gonna say, I don't know where Hedgie interrupted me, but yeah, Hemi saved me. That guy saved me a ton of runs. We're gonna miss him as a teammate, as a defender, but like Hedgie said, it's a business, and you gotta move on.
Yeah, I get it. I tried to calm Cleveland fans down, explaining to them why over the next 5 years it's hard to pay a guy $100 million in our climate unless he's Jose Ramirez for this team. But I know players don't like to hear that. I know fans don't like to hear it. I just tried to calm everybody down, diffuse the situation. That's what us old fans try and do. Hedgie, I don't know if you've ever seen – you've only known this Shane Bieber, the model clean-cut version. Have you ever seen what he looked like in his first show start?
Oh, no.
I've seen pictures. I've seen pictures. I've seen video. It's beautiful. I tell him to bring it back all the time. But my God, I mean, doesn't he kind of look like I know I'm not going to be mean, but he looks like Ian Kennedy.
Ooh, that's a great call. I was
you like that?
There's some Ian Kennedy in there.
It does look a little, because it's got kind of a reddish tint, I think, with the lighting there.
I'm not even looking at the features. I'm looking at those stats on the bottom right.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good.
Rosie, isn't it crazy how money can make you good looking? Like, you see like an ugly person, it's like, you're not ugly, you're just poor. And it's like you see Shane there, like that looks like a 5th-year senior out of Santa Barbara. And then it's like, okay, starts doing good, wins a Cy Young, now he's got the skincare lines and the fashion, and then boom, look at him. This guy is aging backwards. He's like Tom Brady right now. I guarantee you, 20 years, he's going to be even better looking.
That was the long play. I knew that was in effect early. If I looked younger and younger each year as I went on, I'd be more likely to get re-signed. But here we are.
Dude, that beard was frothy.
The beard was good. Yeah, that was an issue. That was my first time ever growing a beard. I've always been more of a clean shaved face guy, but was growing a beard, and then I was putting up those numbers right there in the minor leagues, and I couldn't shave it. So it would have been a mistake to shave it for my debut.
Got it. All right, I'm going to ask Hedgie one last thing before we let him go, and then I'll wrap up with you, Shane.
Okay.
Be honest. Hedgie, when you saw that Juan Soto signed for $765 million with the possibility it's going way over $800 million, as great a player as he is, didn't you fall out of your chair for just a second?
I'm the crazy person that still thinks he and everybody else is underpaid.
All right, I got to call bullshit on you. I know we want as much money for play. I do too. 765, when you saw it, you were like, come on, really?
I mean, bro, it's a multi-billion-dollar business, and it's not like they're paying him $760 million this year. But I guarantee you he's going to bring in a hell of a lot more than $50 million this year that they're paying him. Like, you don't pay someone to lose money. You pay someone so you make more money than that. So technically, like, he's worth more, and so many guys are worth more. There's so many guys in this league that are getting paid $800K to $2 million that are worth in what their product is bringing to the field on a yearly basis is upwards of 50, and you've probably not even heard of these guys. But that's just the reality when you look at the books and you look at the numbers. Like, Shane Bieber's underpaid this year, and he's making 15 mil. And it's like, there's no reason why he's not worth double that at least. But our game is still, but the beauty of baseball is we actually have players that are challenging it. No salary cap. We get our guaranteed money. So this is great. It's a great sign. Like, I think every player should be thrilled about it and should be trying to sign for as much money as they can. But I think, and I will stand by that, and I'm willing to get all the negative comments. Like one of my last takes on your show didn't go over very well. But it's okay. I'll hold strong.
What was that one?
I'm still right about that take, too.
What was it?
Emmanuel Clase is the best pitcher of all time through this amount of time.
Oh, you got worked on that one?
Well, yeah, he didn't have the greatest postseason, Shane.
People,
And
hey,
apparently that matters.
there's receipts all over the internet, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you how that went over in the John Boy Media offices against the Yankees when things didn't go ideally well. I understood your point. I tried to defend you because I said we're talking about through 200 regular season innings, everybody, and people are going to lose their shit.
Duh, like
all the time.
Just look up just check the numbers. It's all right. The numbers don't lie. Okay, it's just the regular season. Relax, people.
Last thing before we let him go, are you going to let Uncle Austin babysit your child?
God, no. Would you?
Well, I have let my kids around him, but my kids are basically grown men. So
yeah.
there's
No,
not much.
Uncle Austin will be a great the uncle we don't talk about. Yeah, we're excited.
I mean, I can't wait for like 14 years from now when we're telling the story of young first beer with Uncle Austin.
Yeah. 14.
Wait.
Jeez, oh man.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's get him out of here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, have a happy holiday to you and your entire family. Tell your folks hi for me, okay?
All right, I will. Thanks, Rosie. Love you, Shane.
Love you, bro.
Bye.
Talk to you later.
Class A knucklehead, huh?
Yeah, he's fantastic, huh? You how often do you have him on here?
Too often.
Yeah, no lawsuits.
Well, no. Most people just kind of ignore. He's a little Barkley-esque from that standpoint. Like, he's kind of Teflon. He can say whatever he wants, and he'll just kind of slide right off.
It's very true. That's very true. That's a good point.
Yeah. He is one of when people, they always get my mentions on social media, and they're like, why did we re-sign Austin Hedges for that amount of money? And I was like, folks, y'all have to understand.
To use his words, yeah, the value he brings in is more than that. So
I know we give him a lot of shit, but I think there's a reason the Guardians made it where they did in 2022, didn't when he wasn't there in 2023, and did when he returned in 2024. Now, there's a lot of other factors. I understand it. But as a guy who's around him and as much shit as we do give him, like, there's something to it, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, he's completely and entirely engaged. Obviously from pitch one to the final pitch of the game, but prior to that, 12 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game in there in the clubhouse. He woke up at 11:45, but he's in there by 12, and and he's in there getting the energy right, and just getting everybody ready to go. And he's game planning, he's scouting, he's doing all the things that maybe don't get talked about a ton, but make a huge difference at the end of the day and at the end of a season.
Yeah, just a couple more on your because he interrupted us right when we were kind of getting to the emotional part of things.
Yeah, he does that.
Yeah, he kind of does. Shit stir Hedges about how you were feeling when you were watching your team get so close to a World Series. On one hand, I get it. You're all about the guys, but you want to be out there because you've been the dude. How tough was it wrestling with those emotions during the ALCS?
It wasn't that tough. You were right. Like, there are those feelings and those emotions, and I just would have given anything to be out there and pitching in the DS and the CS and especially in New York, like in the playoffs. There's nothing like pitching in New York during the playoffs, and in that environment, and for the sake of the matter, in Cleveland. Obviously, that's a lot more positive for a Cleveland player in Cleveland than as opposed to in New York. But both are incredible experiences, and like I said, you're right. There are those feelings and those emotions present, but it wasn't too difficult to just compartmentalize them. And I've had some great experiences in the postseason. I'm going to have more, and that team and those guys, I was really happy to see them, have some great moments on the field and just in the playoffs. And we're going to make some more great ones this year and further on.
I don't want to ask you a date. That's not fair. But
everybody keeps doing it though.
I know. All right, so should I be the asshole?
I mean, I'm the one asking dates as well, and they don't give them to me. And it's probably smarter that way. You just try and keep your head down with your rehabilitation and take it one day, 1 week at a time. But I was just talking to Spilly here earlier today, and like I said, everybody's asking dates and they want dates, and hopefully it'll be June or July. If it's before then, great. If it's after then, great. But ultimately, I'm focusing every day and just for when I do come back at 100%. And everything's going well and tracking really well, and I'm happy to share that with you. But even when I ask dates, because I want to push and do as much as I possibly can. And I'm thankful to be surrounded by people that know that about me, and that people that can pull me back and just keep me focused on what's right in front of me day in and day out. And so I think that's the best way and the best relationship to have with team doctors and PTs and trainers and everybody around you. And so I'm thankful for exactly that, everybody around me.
I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah. I would love to give you a date. Trust me.
I know. I hear you. Last thing I want to know is you went to UC Santa Barbara, I believe, as a walk-on. For people that have never been to that part of the world, it is incredible. Did you really go to class?
Yeah. They class checked us pretty good. I did really go to class, and
it did not out there.
I think it's different now post-COVID. There's probably a lot more online classes offered. But at that time, I was there from 14 to 16. It's not that bad going to class, honestly. You ride your bike. Everybody's got a bike there. Sometimes, they get stolen. They're kind of like community bikes. And people take them, and it's you're on the water in between classes. If you have time, you go walk on the beach. Like it's impossible to replicate and to really give that full feel until you experience that. And so both Kara and I went to UCSB. Both of us went to class. That's where we met. She's got the degree though.
What's her
dropout?
Degree?
She was in communications. I was in. I switched around quite a bit. I think I ended up in sociology, but I never. At that point, I knew I was hopefully going to get drafted and get out of there after 3 years.
Good job, bro. Good job.
Yeah.
It all worked out great.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough for the time. Please tell Kara, thank you so much for allowing this. I'm interrupting your vacation, the last non-baby vacation ever for the Biebers. So believe me, I don't take it lightly.
Hey, it's still 10 a.m. here. We got all day in front of us, but I appreciate you saying thanks.
Absolutely. For our amazing producer, Robbie Scirocco, for Shane Bieber, still of my Cleveland Guardians, I am Chris Rose. We'll see you next time here on the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of John Boy Media.